I think we can all agree we've heard some really great speakers today, enlightening us on a multitude of subjects. And Karen, as I said before, has done a great job in organizing this. So we're talking about the family, and I've been inspired by hearing my friend Mike Gonzalez talk about the demographics and the whole notion of identity politics, and I wanted to just say something about that. I was talking to my father, as I mentioned a few moments ago, and he had two grandmothers, like all fathers do. One of them was Mary O'Brien from County Clare, Ireland, and I've grown up to not only have repurchased her property, but rebuilt her birthplace in Ireland, and now have an Irish citizen granddaughter in Dublin. So I wanted to mention that to Mike because, in a sense, this is the immigrant story we're sort of after. We came to this country with nothing. We were able to achieve something down the generations, and now I've returned my bloodline back to the old country. On the other hand, my other grandmother is a full-blooded American Indian. Who knew? My father told me that when he was young and would stay with his grandparents, my great-grandfather would refer to his wife as squaw. He never used her name, squaw. And that's not necessarily the side of my family that I obviously identify with. So this notion of identifying with forebears is an artificial construct, exactly as the Marxists would say. As to the family, that's just a little bit of my own family, there's no accident that the chief targets of the unholy left is the family, just as the nascent family of Adam and Eve was Satan's target. Very important to understand the truth of Adam and Eve. And David Horowitz touched on it a little bit earlier. The forbidden fruit was what? An apple, an orange, I don't know, banana, whatever it was. Doesn't really matter. But the point was that Eve wasn't supposed to partake of it. This ties in with what Barak Lurie said, too. If you read Milton's description of Eve and what the serpent is feeling when he sees her, he wants to make love to her. He is attracted by her naked innocence. And in Paradise Lost, yeah, I know, it's a boring, long poem, and it reads like Time magazine in the old days, where we used to say, backwards ran the sentences until reeled the mind. The serpent desires Eve, and therefore he wants to ruin her. And he does so by saying, what? Taste the fruit, and you shall be as God. That's it. Who can resist that offer? Taste the fruit, and you shall be as God. And Milton says later in the Areopagitica, that was the doom into which Adam fell once Eve tasted the apple, and then realizing that she's transgressed, Adam, that sexist pig, says, well, if my girl's going down, I'm going with her. So he eats the apple not in a desire to break God's law, but to save Eve, to be with her forever. The doom into which Adam fell of knowing good and evil, which is to say, knowing good by evil. We learn evil from the fruit of the tree. So from the beginning, mythologically, religiously, we have this attack on the family by the serpent. The family, in its most basic biological sense, represents everything that those who would wish fundamental change, to use a famous curdling phrase, on society must first loathe. I must say again, as a veteran of the 60s, you know what they say about the 60s is if you can remember the 60s, you weren't really there. I remember them kind of. But when another Barack Obama, used the expression fundamental transformation, I turned to everybody I knew, collared strangers in the streets, and said, I know exactly what he means by that. That is not innocent. That has been the goal of Marxists forever. The family is the cornerstone of society, the guarantor of future generations. the building block of the state, but superior to it because the family is naturally ordained, whereas the state is not. Against the evidence of millennia, across all cultures, the left hurls the argument that the family is nothing more than a social construct that we can re-engineer if we choose. Like Satan, the modern leftist state is jealous of the family's prerogatives, enraged by its power, and it seeks to replace this with its own authority, the satanic condition of rage, which is, in fact, one of the left's favorite words. The ongoing, expansive redefinition of what constitutes a family is part of the left's assault. If any group of two or more people, no matter how distant their biological relation, or even if they are entirely unrelated, can be called a family, then there is no such thing as a family. Again, the language is important. The left is always trying to redefine it out from underneath you. But see how it has been accomplished. As a lustful Satan, involved in rising mists, as Milton says, comes to Eve in the body of a snake in order to appeal to her vanity and curiosity, while at the same time calming her fears at his sudden apparition, so does change cloak itself in euphemism, disguising its real intentions, appealing to the transgressive impulse in everyone, and promising a better tomorrow if only we compromise on this one tiny little thing. Haven't you heard that from them over and over and over and over again? Well, the sun didn't not come up tomorrow, did it? They're always giving you this wheedling. Oh, God. Let me leave you with a couple of final observations here. You all know who Pavlik Morozov was? Pavlik Morozov was perhaps this legend may have been embellished, but he was the Russian kid who turned in his parents. He went to the state, ratted them out, the Soviet young pioneer, who informed on his father to the secret police and was later murdered by reactionaries of his own family, who were later rounded up and shot. We are raising a generation of Pavlik Morozovs, right? Mommy and Daddy, your carbon footprint's too big. I don't think we should take that car. We can't fly in an airplane. I'm going to rat you out to the EPA, buddy. We have to be very careful of them. A couple of final observations. The only freedom the left believes in is sexual freedom. They believe in no other freedom than sexual license. And however, and in whatever variety it comes, is what they are for. Don't be fooled by their love of liberty. That's what they mean. Finally, I say this on Twitter a lot. Tolerance is not a virtue. It's an individual choice. It has nothing to do with morality. Don't let them beat you with that. Diversity is not a goal. It's a description. It has no moral significance whatsoever. And hate, as in wartime, can be a positive good. Don't let them demonize hate, which of course is what they call us. Finally, they never stop, they never sleep, they never quit. Thank you.